Welcome back, everybody, to the Fnatic doubleheader. We're getting into game number 2 of Team Tinker versus Fnatic. Following this, we're going to have Fnatic again facing up against Cloud9. They're already off to a great start today, as taking down Team Tinker in game number 1 was pretty damn impressive, honestly. With the way they pulled out that win, it was such a convincing one as well. But as we get into game number 2, welcome in my co-caster, and Haas is going to be joining me once again to talk about the draft.
Yeah, and right off the bat, I'm actually a little bit surprised that Team Tinker have let Fnatic pick the Faceless Void again. Boogie is 7-2 in Pro Dota 2 matches this month when he's played on the Faceless Void, only 14-13 on all other heroes. So he's played a lot of that hero, and as we saw in the last game, extremely effective. And the Faceless Void Mirana combo to boot has almost a 70% win rate in pro matches. Now, you got to wonder whether Team Tinker saw something different in that last game than we did, because they had both the Skywrath Mage and the Wraith King on the Dire side in the last match as well, and neither of those heroes felt like they had much of an impact. But they're turning around, doing something a little bit different with the Brewmaster. You're probably going to see Sing Sing on that hero in the mid lane, and maybe they're saying, look, our downfall in the last game was those mid-game engagements, and Brewmaster certainly set up nicely to have a big impact on the game at that time.
So the Skywrath Mage, Wraith King, Brewmaster for Team Tinker, I don't know, something about, I really had no problems with, it just felt like Team Tinker just messed up a couple of executions in the early game, and they just got really, really punished by Fnatic, taking advantage of those small mistakes and really pushing the envelope on them. So yeah. I have to say that I think that, you know, the draft wasn't necessarily too much of a problem here for Team Tinker, so if they go for something very similar, I wouldn't mind. But, man, this start out here, the Skywrath Mage, Wraith King, once again angling to try and put a lot of pressure on that middle lane with these support rotations. Right.
I mean, you saw in the last match, and again, they're going to go back to the Earthshaker for Come With Me. Just magnificent on that here in the last match. All right, and this is a very typical Dire side draft in 6.81b from Team Tinker. You're going to pick 2 very strong solo laners, and you're going to draft either a very strong aggressive tri-lane or roaming supports. And you saw early in the last match how effective those heroes were at, I mean, they shut down Hani's Tinker. He had 5 last hits at 5 minutes, right? Didn't get much other than that early first blood. Didn't really get much done in the laning phase, but they weren't able to shut down the rest of the map. And it's kind of the thing about this Fnatic squad, is that they're pretty good at picking up if one of their teammates is having a bad game.
Yeah, they certainly are. Earthshaker going to be grabbed once again for Fnatic. Signature hero, apparently, as Hani last time, I mean, Hani's displayed some beautiful strengths in Earthshaker, but Hani last time wasn't even on the Earthshaker, and Come With Me stepped up really, really well with some amazing Fissure blocks, a beautiful, at least one really, really solid Echo Slam that straight up won them the fight. It's just, so apparently Earthshaker is going to be a persistent pickup here for Fnatic, and I can't really fault them at all for it, because not only is it just a strong current hero on the scene, but it's also one of my favorite heroes, seeing as, you know, rocking the Earthshaker shirt. But also the fact that, you know, they're playing it so damn well. Why the hell not run it again?
Yeah, certainly if it ain't broke. I do like the Viper pick, though, a lot more coming out here from Team Tinker, because Fnatic do seem to go with these kind of wombo combo oriented lineups, and Viper, it gives you a much better chance of sustaining through that. Now, that said, the reaction to the Viper coming out of Fnatic is the Venomancer, a hero that can deal just unbelievable amounts of damage over time. Poison Nova is the highest damage per cast ability in Pro Dota 2. It doesn't the amount of damage that this skill deals every time Veno casted is something a lot of people underestimate. The one concern, of course, is that with Veno in the current environment, his skills, they were reworked and they now scale so much. They're so bad in the early game. His early game damage output is abysmal. He really needs those early levels. So I really wonder whether they're going to have him in the offlane, maybe even in the solo mid, although I have a hard time seeing Matum Baman really want to play that kind of hero.
Yeah, it's certainly not the norm that we see from him. It's normally like a really high-impact snowballing hero. Venomancer doesn't really quite fit that bill, but it is a really strong laner versus either the Brewmaster or the Viper in that mid lane. So I like it for that reason, as well as maybe the potential early pushing power But I'm not too sure about whether or not this is actually going to work out for them.
I mean, the stats say that Veno is an okay solo mid. He has about a 50-50 win rate, which is actually better than most other lane configurations for the hero. But, you know, my problem that I have with him is that as early game support rotations have become much more prominent, he really does need to get those wards up quickly, and he needs to be forcing the lane out. And that puts him in really, really risky positions to get roamed on himself. I mean, he's a very, very slow base move speed hero. It's easy for him unless he picks a perfect Gale is his only defense early on against those ganks, plus the vision provided by his wards. So if they're going to run him solo mid, I see that as being very risky in this environment. I mean, again, you know, that Skywrath Mage and Wraith King did get things done early for Team Tinker. It's just that they invested too much in that bottom lane. They couldn't get enough done in the rest of the map.
I love the fact that Team Tinker banned away the Ember Spirit as well.
Me too.
Like, nope, that hero is not going to be coming out for Matu here. So instead, they're going to be seeing the puck pick up for Team Tinker, which gives them some extra initiation off of the back of the Brewmaster, his initiation can be sometimes a bit lackluster depending on how well the team is able to react to his clap and Brewmaster ultimate. They don't have any like quick reaction spells to be able to stop him from getting off that ultimate, I think. Maybe the Echo Slam, but there isn't many things that they could do to stop that. But just still being able to have an extra initiator, some sort of good solid stunner with the Dreaming Coil being able to hold in these heroes, I think is their best bet. It's also a nice little hero to be able to shut down some of these, like the Faceless Void, the Mirana, even like the Venomancer Earthshaker, and maybe even the Invoker are all relatively squishy heroes. And it looks like Fnatic are making a full-on. Yeah, this is another hero that's kind of a signature for Hani to be playing it. I'm not sure if they're actually making a full rotation with Trixie and Hani just swapping between the support and core roles, but in this series at least, with these signature heroes, it seems to make sense.
Yeah, and I mean, people so quickly forget, but for a period of time, even though Ice and Dendi, of course, get all the press on this hero, Hani was the premier invoker for a period of time in 6.80 in Pro Dota 2 matches. I mean, he had more wins than anybody during that patch. And yeah, I mean, that's really unusual to see this kind of a role swap back. I mean, Invoker, not a hero that's had a lot of success lately with pro matches, but glad to see it. That's always an exciting thing for us to watch. I really, really do like this Team Tinker draft, though, so much more, right? I think it sounds too simple, but when you're on the Dire side, you draft 3 really strong solo laners, and you draft supports that can either go in an aggressive tri-lane or function as dedicated roamers. I don't think you can go wrong. It lets you apply so much pressure around the map early on. And as the Dire side, you know, as we've said in earlier games, you know that eventually Radiant is going to have to come to you. Because if they let you get to 40 minutes with that Roche Pit advantage, that's a distinct deficit for the Radiant side. So I really like this draft from Team Tinker much more so than in their last match.
Something I do want to point out, we're going to be seeing, as you're talking about the rotations from the supports and drafting 3 solos with the heavy rotating supports, the double smokes picked up by them. One on Bulba, one on EGM, goes to show how much pressure they're going to be putting on this middle lane. The aggro try is coming out here from Fnatic. They're running, no, actually, hold on. I don't think this is an aggro try. Come with me, it's just blocking, and Trixie's just going to be roaming with his Mirana.
It shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, Fnatic doesn't have the worst setup in the laning phase, but again, I really worry for Matumbama on this Venomancer. He is so vulnerable early on. Trixie is going to try and protect him with the early arrows coming out, but I really feel like Trixie and Come With Me are going to feel a lot of pressure to spend most of their time in the mid lane here, and they're going to be playing guess. I see Team Tinker's supports being the ones forcing the action early.
Absolutely.
And you can see right away they're going to go for this mid rotation, and I don't know how Matumbama lives through this unless he magically smokes it out.
Yeah, the arrow actually missing there, and that means Matu will be picked off with the slow and everything else. He will just be surrounded and right-click down. So the last hit's going to go to EGM for that first blood. Trixie, meanwhile, was trying to go up against Bulba there. Actually laid down half his damage there on one target and half on the other. Trixie actually getting super low to that last little clap. But Sing Sing not committing for the kill, nor should he. trying to trade himself away for a support like that. So still, though, he's going to burn through a lot of regen in the process. Desperately needs his bottle to be rotating in as he's sitting at no health whatsoever. Still, at the same time, successful rotation, and Boogie will be able to take small advantage of that by playing forward, but he won't be able to pick up much CS. Not nearly as much as the Puck can if those two supports do rotate from the side of the Radiant side, because they're being forced into it by Team Tinker. Koifa is going to get so much more against the Invoker than the Faceless Void can up against the Viper.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. Starting at level 2 or level 3 on the Skywrath, they can even kill Boogie with a rotation here up top. They can stop that time walk with Ancient Seal. Boy, these Fnatic supports are going to have to do a great job anticipating. I mean, just right now, they could kill Trixie if they catch him unaware.
Yeah, these two supports are coming in not quite in time to be able to be a part of that Mirana gank, but Trixie may still be caught. They're going to go for Come With Me instead. A little bit tankier. Nice dodge by Koifa, dodging the arrow. And Bulba will come in, provide some extra additional damage here. They're trying to finish off Bulba in exchange for this one. With the Cold Snap going down, they should be able to get it, as they will claim those last couple of right clicks. Wraith King comes back to fight up against Trixie. 1v1 with Hani going up against Koifa. Neither one should result in a kill, though, as a simple support for support, not too bad of a trade for either side, except for the fact that Trixie is now caught out with Sing Sing making a rotation in with a double damage rune he picked up from the bottle. Poor Mirana just couldn't run down the river, and now they're even going to go for a dive here. EGM has a secondary stun. The orb over the top. Hani getting low is going to be taken down by a couple of right clicks. The last nuke will be enough to finish him off. Trixie, meanwhile, lands the arrow onto Koifa, but it's going to have a hard time finishing him off, as Koifa will just eat his way through the trees, cut around.
Oh, nice.
And should be able to get out. Trixie can only lay in so much extra damage with purely right clicks.
Yeah, very nice juke. And Team Tinker playing off this early pressure so beautifully.
Yeah, that was not what you wanted to see. Pycap being a little bit too aggressive there. Somehow caught out by Come With Me's rotation. He was probably just being really far forward in the lane and trying to push back Boogie, and then got caught by one of those support rotations that just, you know, when you're so far past the tower and that long-range stun as well, can kind of catch you out. So Pycap playing a bit too aggressive while the rest of his team is crushing the other lanes.
Yeah, and there's a tendency to relax, right? If you see all that action going on down bottom, there's a tendency to get a little bit bold, feel like you can dive towers, forget about those TPs.
Montu sitting at level 4, and this is unfortunately, the Venomancer, like the early levels of wards, they really only start becoming a big factor in once you have level 3, where they're no longer easily killed, and especially when Sing Sing has a level advantage and has a farm advantage as well, thanks to these early kills, he's able to just sit there and kill the wards over and over again. Now that it's level 3, it'll be a little bit better for Matu, and I like the fact he went for the really early Gale there, right as the rune was coming up. So Matu's going to be able to pick up a haste rune in the top lane, and start spamming out even more wards, but I think the damage is already done. The Brewmaster is going to be able to just sit in lane and get himself a very fast level Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my biggest problem with Veno is he feels like he's just so defensive as a mid while he's in lane. I mean, his wards allow him to survive and CS, but it's very hard for him to create kills on a hero like a Brewmaster 1v1.
Yeah, for sure, especially when you're lacking any kind of disable by yourself. That as soon as the Brewmaster hits level 6, he has so many options here. And to Come With Me and Trixie are going to try me landing a Fisher arrow combination. And if they do successfully land it, they should be able to kill Sing Sing. Even then, it's going to be a bit close. Arrow comes out, lands on Sing Sing. Now they need to chain the stuns properly. Arrow's going to be running out. Come With Me.
Very nice.
Following up the Fisher stun, the one still comes out. Sing Sing having enough extra tank to be able to live through this, and now he's going to be able to kill Trixie. And there's not anything they can do. He's just actually going to toss him down on the ground. The stun lands, and that's it. They're actually going to try and go for a return kill here. This is probably pretty smart. The haste rune is going to be finishing up. Missing. No, actually did hit the Gale. Fisher block going down. Sunstrike will finish off Sing Sing with a right click of the Venomancer. Boogie's got to get himself out. Meanwhile, Matu is going to chase down EGM here through the river with his extra bit of wards. Got to be careful, though, as he is still very squishy and doesn't have any items to make him tankier just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. One more level on Come With Me's Earthshaker, and they might have gotten Sing before he got the split off. But Koifa in a little bit of trouble down here on the bottom, should be able to escape.
Yeah, with the simple orb away, he'll take a lot of damage, but in the end, he does get out.
Sunstrike is up. He's got to be a little bit careful here, but that's always tough.
Yeah, just to try and gauge. Hani's still holding on to it. He may actually go for... Matsu's in some trouble. Concussive shot, clap, and a blast is all it takes. Once again, the Venomancer dying in lane. Twice now he's been ganked up.
Oh, he got
Sunstrike.
it.
EGM.
No.
Not enough damage. That's probably just due to the fact that those early rotations.
Yeah, Hani's only level 5, which I mean isn't horrible, but again, only the level 2 Sunstrike. You know, that 162.5 pure damage, not quite enough to do the job.
And that means Invis going to be picked up by, well, Trixie actually. Leaps in front of Sing Sing to snag it real quickly. Boogie, meanwhile, is rotating around. He does have a Chronosphere up, and that is a good opportunity with the Mirana for them to get a free pick-off here. Love to be able to see them shut down Pycat, as despite the fact that he fed a very early kill by overextending himself, he has been utterly free-farming, sitting at 40 and 10, 7 minutes into this game.
Yeah, this is the second straight game, though, that he's not done that much.
Boogie, Boba running in. Oh, the Chronosphere! In missed! And now Pycat's going to go on Matsu. Boba's going to be able to help him out, finish him. And the arrow missing means that disaster, utter disaster there for Trixie and Boogie. As that should have been a simple one-for-one trade, or hell, even trying to just pick out the Viper in general, but completely whiffed the Chronosphere. And now Trixie's going to go down as well, as he gets caught by the coil and will be finished up. Unfortunately, no leap for him. Also even gets silenced in the process.
Well, I didn't say anything in this game, so I didn't jinx him, but that's been the book on Boogie, that as well as he's played in some of these matches, he's also made some mistakes. And I had been impressed in the recent past at how quickly he had cut down on some of those, but that was definitely one there that gives Team Tinker a bit of a window here to get some things done in this match. And you know, their position right now, almost the polar opposite of what we saw in the last game, up 3.5k gold at the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, pretty rough position for them to be on so early into this game. This is the kind of lead that Team Tinker needed to have here in game number 1 with their same kind of aggressive draft. Taste Rune actually going to be denied here by Matsu, and Sing Sing not going to be close enough to really push out Matsu entirely. In fact, Matsu even being aggressive enough, the arrow's not going to be able to land. Bit off the mark there from Trixie. 8 minutes in, teleport into the bottom lane, and Pycat not quite close enough to catch out Hani with a Viper Strike.
Yeah, and you can see Hani's Invoker level 7 doesn't look like he's building a Midas, or at least if he is, he's not anywhere near it. He's finished up his treads, and you know, just not getting enough done with that space down there. Not what we're looking for in this match. Sing's gonna have his Blink Dagger up here and another 300 gold. Koikfa already has his on the puck. Team Tinker have what they need to force the fights and increase this lead.
Yeah, I think they really need to rotate some heroes down to this bottom lane now, because Hani cannot afford to be going up against Pycat, who has a full level advantage over him. Like, Hani is already
getting
had such
roamed
a tough
on.
time.
I mean, that's the thing here, right? I mean, EGM can practically dive this.
Yeah. If they manage to pick up the kill, he may even jump up to level 6 and have his reincarnation. Support rotation is going to see EGM soon here. The stun goes out. Hits him. Trixie not able to leap away in time, but won't be punished by it. Boogie's actually going to jump in, gets the Chronosphere on 2 there. He's going to go for Bulba while the rest of the damage goes on EGM. Fisher goes down. Bulba, that last hit, not a time lock proc, and he will be able to get himself away.
Yeah, and again, Pycat not quite with the mech finish yet. That definitely could have turned that fight, but Fnatic get a much-needed kill to get them back on the board here after a while. Pretty quiet.
Continual push into the middle lane is just now being established by Matsu, sitting at level 8. Unfortunately, it's really not enough, as Sing Sing is easily able to tank up the wave and really doesn't have any other issues. They are going to be going for Pycat here in this bottom lane. Come with me, might be able to get a good Fisher block in. Still not convinced that they're going to be able to finish off Pycat, though. I mean, he's got a buckler. He's going to have several magic stick charges as well.
Yeah, he's probably, I don't know how well they're communicating here, but he probably needs to wait a couple seconds on that Fisher, because the arrow still has 8 seconds on cooldown, and that's a combination that they absolutely have to have if they want to take down Pycat here. I agree, though, on the decision to go on Pycat now-ish, if only because the 3 items that you have to have before you really start destroying is these Team Tinker lineup. You need the blink on your Brew, you need the blink on Koikfa, and you need the mech on Pycat. And one of those has been done for a while. Sing just got his Blink online, and PyCat is about another 650, 630 gold here off finishing his mech. Once they have those items up, there's just not enough progress toward big items over on the Fnatic side to counterbalance that. I mean, Hani does look like he might be going for the catch-up Midas, but even though he has a ways to go toward that, Trixie is sitting on only brown boots. Boogie is still a ways off that Mask of Madness, so Fnatic is not ready to fight now, and they're probably not going to be ready to fight for at least another 5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure, and I think that's why they kind of need a pick-off in the next couple of minutes. As they really, really need to stop the, because Team Tinker, as you said, once they finish up their items, they're just going to start steamrolling through Fnatic, and all these tier 1 towers that they managed to keep intact so far are going to start dropping like flies, and not even the Venomancer, I think, will be able to stop that push.
I mean, that's the scary thing, right? Because we've seen 3K gold leads at the 10-minute mark a lot more often these days than we used to see them even a couple of months ago. They're becoming almost commonplace. But the scary thing here is a 3K gold lead at the 10-minute mark with all the opponent's towers standing. I mean, you easily have a 6K gold lead by the 15-minute mark if you just win these fights like you're supposed to and push.
Bulba, joining now in this bottom lane, needs a little bit of solo experience, and they'll gladly give it to him as he desperately needs his level 6. And Matu, I'm just wondering, like, this mid Venomancer is doing nothing for them.
No progression
he got shut down so hard. It's, like, I understand it, but what does a Venomancer do at this point in time into the game?
Right. I mean, he got shut down so hard, but he got shut down in exactly the way that anybody that saw their draft should have been able to predict, and that's kind of the thing. They've just put it's not his fault. They've put Matumbaman in a really bad situation in this match just by virtue of their draft.
Yeah, I have no idea what the Venomancer actually will contribute into these team fights besides maybe that ultimate, and that's decent, but it's not enough. It's nowhere near enough, and this tower is just not going down fast enough. Because he's actually, like, for every 20 points of damage he's putting on the tower, he's also feeding away a certain amount of experience and gold to whoever's sitting in the mid lane. And he's feeding away even more large amounts of gold and experience when he gets picked off. Double blinks onto Matsu. Not even the Invis rune he was holding inside of his bottle is fast enough for that one.
Yeah, that's just kind of the thing. It reminds me a little of the core Jakiro, maybe even more severely, that if the game is going against you at this point, that core Venomancer is so limited in his ability to contribute.
Come With Me is going to have to hide himself in the jungle here. Quite actually blinking ahead of one of the juking spots. Come With Me will be quickly surrounded. Chronosphere on to 3. And they'll finish off EGM's reincarnation. But despite the fact that it looked good with the 3-man Chrono, there's simply no follow-up from anybody.
No, and we were mentioning that in the last match, that Fnatic has done that as well as just about any team that I've seen over the last month or so. They've hit great Chronos, but they've also had their team in position to follow up. And, 3-man Chrono there, you get excited for a split second and realize, nope, reincarnation only.
Yep.
We do have level 2 Forge Spirit, so we're going to have a bit more pushing presence coming out from the Fnatic side. But again, how quickly that gets cleaned up.
Boba will manage to dodge this Sunstrike just fine, I believe, as it's a little bit too far up anyway. Come With Me and Hani, Come With Me, still not level 6. We'll be picking it up very soon. As you said, Hani's picking up the recovery Midas for his Invoker. And they may have had a shot with this draft to be able to try and take some early towers between, like, the Forge Spirits mixed in with the Venomancer. They do have some early laning presence mixed in with decent team fight and pushing power between the two of them. You could kind of see the possibilities of them taking some very, very early towers, but it's well past that point by now, and it's made even worse by the fact that that Venomancer was shut down so hard he has a very little impact into this game now.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem with their lineup, is that you look at Team Tinker and what they're able to bring to the table. If you let them get their core items up between 10 and 15 minutes and you don't have yours, I mean, you can't really fight with this Fnatic lineup.
All right, unpause. Sunstrike did miss. And Team Tinker just waiting to finish up the rest of their items.
Bottom tower going to be denied.
Yeah, that's
Dire's bottom tower
That's a shame.
has been denied.
And these Venomancer pushes, I mean, like, look at this middle tier 1 tower. It's still sitting at 620 health.
I mean, okay, fine. Peck away at my tier 1 tower while we kill your heroes and control the rest of your lanes. I mean, it's still, again, you look at the gold graph and it's over 5K now at 13 minutes with only 1 tower taken by Team Tinker. I mean, this is Fnatic can't afford to just sit back and do what they've been doing. We need to see some fights here from them, and we need to see them soon.
Yeah. Another situation I would love to be able to see how much summon gold has been fed into Team Tinker with all these awards. I mean, I don't think it's that significant, but I think it would surprise many people when you see how much golden experiences, extra golden experiences being fed away to whoever's sitting in the mid lane. Pycat's the CS, for example, is going to look pretty overinflated, sitting at 85 and 10, as he's been routinely picking off 1 or 2 wards every single time the wave pushes into them. He's sitting at 5,500 net worth.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it really overinflated? I mean, he has a substantial net worth lead.
Yeah. And he doesn't even have like an early Midas or something like that.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the thing. People say, okay, well, these wards are only worth like, what, 15 gold or something of that nature. But, I mean, resources are resources. There's a finite amount of farm available on the map. And anytime you are increasing the amount of farm, the total amount of farm that's available to the enemy team, that's something that you got to think really, really carefully about. I mean, Venomancer's wards perhaps not the best example. Those aren't so big.
They certainly aren't too high value.
But that's, for example, why like Broodmother is just almost completely unviable at the pro level. You're just giving away way too much in terms of extra resources available to that enemy team.
For sure. 4 to 10, 13 minutes in, and a pretty big gold lead. 5,000 by 13 minutes is a pretty dominating lead here for Team Tinker, and have been holding on to quite the experience lead as well. Now they're just waiting on their last few items until they start pushing in. I really thought it was going to be the Blink Daggers, but they may actually fully wait until they have like the big ticket items. Aghanims on both the Brewmaster as well as the Viper. Not really sure what a puck goes for this game. As I mean, Eul Scepter might be a nice disruptive force once again, but I'm not sure.
I'd be all right with that. Honestly, I have no, we're seeing more and more of the kind of brown boots movement among pro players where you'll see boots of speed just ridiculously late in the game. I am actually fine with Quickva finishing up his treads right here, but I guess that's why I'm a noob.
All right, let's see. What's going to happen here from Team Tinker? They're certainly the ones forcing all the aggression. I would like to see Fnatic try and go for some pickoffs soon. If they can actually just go for a 5-man into the middle lane or something really off the wall like that. And go for like the pickoff on Pycat and turn that into attempting to take the tier 1 tower. I mean, maybe it's safer for them to just sit back and farm, but I feel like with this kind of lead that Team Tinker has, even though you may have the better late game on the side of Fnatic, or certainly strong enough late game to be able to contest Team Tinker and have a good shot at winning, they do have a problem in about 10 minutes time.
Yeah, they're also going to get wrapped around on here. They need to be really careful. Trixie may get out of this with his life, but
Boogie may not be as lucky. Time Walk jumps himself up. He needs a little bit more mana. TP away, and they actually don't have any extra disables.
Too early on the Dream Coil there. I mean, the big difference, right, between this game and the last, I mean, you saw Hani being left alone in the last game, well, being picked on, actually, I'm sorry, in the last game on his Tinker, but that Tinker just has so much more comeback potential than does an Invoker. I mean, you saw Hani get his Midas off the courier just about 30 seconds ago near the 14-minute mark, and, I mean, he needs so much time to be able to contribute to Fnatic's team fight to do damage inside Boogie's Chronosphere.
A little bit of group up here in the middle lane. Not sure if they actually would go for Pycat here or not. They kind of need a Mask of Madness for Boogie. They also have the top lane pushing in, so looks like he's just going to sit back and allow somebody to farm. That looks like the Mirana.
So Quickva did actually finish his treads up on the puck, and I would think that I think with the kind of game that they're having, if you really wanted to, you could go straight Scythe the Vice here. I mean, Eul's is safe. It's a good idea. It can save you from the Chronosphere initiation, but I'm okay with either of those choices, really. Dagon, probably not.
Yeah, probably not this game.
No.
Not enough a lead. Chronosphere, going to be holding in EGM, and Boogie has to get himself away from that Skywrath Mage ultimate, as he almost loses his life to it, but due to the fact they killed that reincarnation last Chronosphere, They actually do get a free little kill onto the Wraith King. Now, Pycat not afraid of showing some aggression here against the 1v1 matchup against the Venomancer, as he just runs at the Veno, and Veno immediately has to back himself away. He's trying to finish up his mech for now, and that will add in a little bit of contributing factor, but
it'll help a lot. But I'm not sure it's going to be enough. I
Yeah.
mean, they're going to
already
eventually
has
here.
his.
They're going to need some damage.
Yeah.
That's going to be the big issue.
yeah, completely agree with that one. A lot of it's just going to come down to the Chronosphere setups. They do finish off Trixie here in the top lane. Koifu is able to get that full wombo combo on him. And the pickoffs will just continue while Fnatic trying to cobble some items together. They do have the Mask of Madness now for the Faceless Void. Need massive amounts of levels here on Hani. I think that's best way to come back into this game is the Chronospheres and what damage Hani can lay in during those Chronosphere timings, because the Meteor does a significant amount of damage if you're able to hold heroes in place. So that is, I think, their best source of damage right now.
Pycat being initiated on here mid with a Sunstrike with almost max level Exort, but he has his mech up.
Arrow does snag him. They're going to be able to finish him off. Hani now backing himself away. He's going to be silenced up and blown up by the Skywrath Mage ultimate. Matu trying to slow down some of these heroes. EGM is reincarnation and is willingly running his life away just to be able to slow down these heroes. Matu's going to be going down because of that. Turns around, tries to get a nice little Gale onto Skywrath Mage, but misses that one. Still going to get it with the Earthshaker Fisher, but come with me, will be at the cost of his own life there in order to claim that kill. 7-14, and Team Tinker walk away with better of that engagement.
Oh, by far. I mean, by far. They trade Pycat's Viper and Bulba's Skywrath Mage for arguably the three most important heroes in terms of their need to catch up and farm. You need, I say that's not an accident. You need that Blink Dagger on Come With Me's Earthshaker here in the next few minutes to counterbalance all of this team fight coming out here from Team Tinker.
Boogie jumping himself away and just trying to put some pressure in around the map, forcing Team Tinker to separate as much as possible, leave him open for those Chronosphere setups. But I feel like Team Tinker just, I mean, they're farming this out. They're farming this out with a plan, which I suppose is going to be Aghanim Scepters. Vlad's actually finished up by Sing Sing instead of going for the straight up Ags.
And again, you referred to it in the last match. You're seeing more of a battle build coming out for the Brewmaster, and I don't mind that one bit. I mean, when they have a lead, there's no reason to just build Brewmaster completely around his ulti unless the situation calls for it.
He's going to be farming up some of these stacks, and with the sustain offered to him by the lifesteal, he should be fine. But pause.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. Hani doesn't even have a level of Wex. Right, that's how much pressure they're feeling to try and keep these lanes pushed out, to try and have some source of sustained damage during the fight, that he feels like having that extra damage on the Forged Spirits is worth not having access to Invoker's full complement of spells. And as you said, especially with the Chronosphere on the field and with the kind of spheres Boogie's capable of hitting, that meatball is a big part of your arsenal.
Right now, we are in game number 2 of Team Tinker versus Fnatic. Fnatic had a very, very strong showing in game number 1, where they were able to take the win against Team Tinker being the underdogs. A very fine display by Fnatic after what was a pretty rough loss in ESL 1 just last night. They were able to then go on to game 2. Had a nice little start there. No, they didn't. Remember now, the double smokes from the Skywrath Mage and Wraith King is really what shut down that Venomancer, starting from the very beginning. Was it game 1 that Fnatic had a first blood? I think it was.
Yeah, it was game 1. But this game, they roamed on Matibaman from the very get-go. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing, that in game 1, both of these games, the lead never really changed hands, and it was never really even close, right? Game 1, Fnatic was off to the start right away. They were getting picked on a little bit in the bottom, but they gave up first blood to Hani's Tinker, and despite shutting him down for the next few minutes, weren't really able to keep the other lanes contained. And now in this match, I mean, Team Tinker just came out right out of the gate and grabbed him by the throat with that first blood on the Veno, and that was what we expressed concern about that during the draft, that Veno being so vulnerable mid, and that unfortunately for Fnatic has definitely come to fruition.
All right, looks like we're going to be starting this back up against the Dota 2 Champions League game number 2 between the two-game series of Fnatic and Team Tinker. Fnatic are currently sitting at 2-1 in the group standings thanks to their earlier win. And Team Tinker, well, they're probably a little bit upset about that first loss, but that has only put them down to 7-6. So they have the possibilities. They're currently sitting in second place. There is a strong possibility they will drop down further if some of these other teams, such as Na'Vi, who are currently sitting 6-4, or even Cloud9, who are 2-4, if they make some serious recovery and don't drop any more matches, you could see Team Tinker fall in the rankings, which will hurt their standings in this group. But for now, they are currently sitting in second place, so with that recent loss, they won't think too much about it as long as they can continue to win this game here, where they're already sitting at quite the gold and experience lead.
Yeah, but I might have to go back on something that I said a couple of moments ago, that I am liking the passivity from Team Tinker less and less as time goes on. I mean, you could say what you want about getting items up, and it is nice to have that Vlad's on the brew, but you've had your core items up for a while now, and Fnatic was just woefully underfarmed by that point. I mean, that's fine that you are protecting your gold lead, but with every minute that goes by, that 5k gold lead becomes less and less significant. So I worry that Team Tinker are maybe giving up a little bit of their advantage here by playing so passive.
I would agree with that. Jump in. They're going to go for Sing Sing. And with the Sunstrike, they may have enough damage. It's going to be close. He doesn't have his ultimate. And that's the one downside. As if he did, he would have been fine there. He would have completely lived. We do have the Viper coming in from the farther up. Matsu is going to be in some trouble. He does have a TP away, but the stun is going to be coming out. So instead, he turns around, gets off the ultimate, whatever damage he can lay down. And that'll actually put Team Tinker in a bad position because they can't really deal with this bottom lane push with the full amount of heroes that they would like to, just because these three from the middle lane are going to be quite low. And that'll probably put them sitting back and forcing to either go back to base or passively farm.
Yeah, and you can see the logic there, right? Behind Hani almost maxing out Exhort before picking up a single level of Wex, which he just did at level 12. The pressure put on by those Forge Spirits is probably one of Fnatic's best chances to get back into this match. And again, you know, the passivity of Team Tinker is really part of what's allowed that.
Boogie's
going to initiate mid.
Yep, the clap is going to hit him. They're just going to turn around. Boogie is still just slowly but surely. I felt like Boogie was kind of DC'd there.
Yeah, I wondered about that myself, because he kind of was standing there and maybe turned around and thought about hitting Sing, but
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Boogie is definitely, because if there was actually any real rotations there from Team Tinker, like they're going on Boogie. They're going on a Faceless Void with 2 slows. They know they can't kill him. They have to know there's no possible way they kill Boogie, as if he's in any real danger, he'll just time walk away, and there's nothing they can do to stop him. They can't pop him with their damage over time, so he's fine. The fact that Boogie didn't instantly react there and try and time walk away, like what if the Skywrath Mage was nearby, and he comes in and throws down that silence, then you're actually very much in trouble. So he had to have been lagging. He actually very successfully auto-attacking his way to victory on Sing Sing, because this Fisher block plus the time lock procs, they're going to force Sing Sing to pop the ultimate.
Yeah, probably, and that's kind of the thing that you alluded to. It'd be a very different matter if the rest of Team Tinker were positioned to follow up, but they're not. And so, yeah, it's kind of a little bit odd going on the Void here, but you force them to time walk back, maybe give the rest of your heroes a chance to get in position. I'm not even sure that they're going to do that, though. They look like they're just resetting to farm some more.
Sing Sing will run himself farther up, and he won't be forced to use that ultimate. He needs to time walk away from Boogie. 8-15, 19.5 minutes in. Necrobook 1 now, finished up by Hani. Still needs a large amount of extra gold, though, to be able to really make more use of this this Necrobook investment.
Yeah, but he's at the point now where that gold is going to come for him pretty quickly.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I'm just, like, waiting on Team Tinker. I almost want to say, like, I don't think Team Tinker will allow him to farm up much longer, but they've already displayed, again, that passivity that you were talking about, where they're willing to let Fnatic sit back and farm. So, not sure what entirely their plan is for right now. Maybe we have a Blink Dagger up for EGM. We have... Is this actually going to be a Dagon on Quakefa? I don't think this is the right game for it, but...
No, I don't either. I think the Yules is a lot better in this situation, but I'm, you know, Reluctant to question Koikfa.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're just. It's felt for the last maybe couple of minutes like they maybe think that they're a little farther ahead than they really are.
Yeah, maybe. We have.
I don't know.
That gold lead has dipped back up. It's only a 3,000 gold lead for Team Tinker, and 4,000 experience.
Oh, there you go.
Lead. Well, that's a nice little pickup. Get the courier. It already brought out the Necrobook to Hani though, so.
Yeah, and Hani in a little bit of trouble here. They can dive this if they really want to, and I would.
Sing. Oh, that's not what you wanted to see.
Oh, yes,
in
several respects.
Claps up Hani, and he's going to have to pop his ultimate here, but I wonder where the Brewlings are going to land.
Yeah, that's the other thing, that the game engine can be a little bit capricious about placements of units when there are trees in the way. I just use the word capricious. Do I get a cookie?
Yeah, you totally do.
Awesome. I love cookies. Love it. So where in the world does Come With Me's Earthshaker? Okay. All right. He's got the Blink Dagger.
He's hiding.
In the trees, my friends. In the trees.
Once he can blink right here and then run himself down, and he could be here for this fight. But
yeah, neither team really positioned, though, for a great response here.
Yeah, the Brewmaster's probably going to force to use his ultimate here. And they may still try and go with the dive with Koifa going in, but you know there's going to be teleports. One most notably from Boogie. And that's the most dangerous one of all. Because him being able to lock down this puck gets them a very easy kill.
Right. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something obvious. And when I feel that way, I probably am. But it just seems awfully strange to me that Team Tinker would have kind of been satisfied to fall back and farm here for the last, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and then choose to initiate this particular fight. I mean, a kill on Hani's Invoker is high value at this point in the game, to be sure, right? You definitely want to try and halt his progression as he's getting himself into the game. But the TP rotations, to me, especially from Boogie here, just, I don't know that it's worth the risk.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it either, man. Even though with Sing stuck in the trees,
yeah,
you kind of have to make a commitment now.
It's true. It's true. No, your card's been played at this point. I mean, you're committing to the fight. There's no question. I don't know. My brain is trying to go back in the last 10 minutes of this game and sort of reconstruct the thought process that Team Tinker, because these guys are not dumb. These guys know their Dota, and they generally come in with very good game plans. And the fact that I'm just kind of not quite seeing what they were waiting for is, I don't know, it's bothering me a bit. Trixie, meanwhile, is going to start working on his mech. It's going to be or actually maybe the pipe, as Matu already has the mech. Sorry about that. And that's a very good item for them. That'll grant a lot of sustain to the team when it is up. I do feel like that's got to be a Yule's coming out on Koikfa. And the Blink Dagger from Come With Me, this is the other thing, man. I felt like the value, you could shut everything else down in terms of progression. Forget about the Invoker and his Necro book for a minute, right? Just the idea that you'd be able to push before the Earthshaker's Blink combo was up is almost enough for me to justify it if I'm Team Tinker.
I'm so glad you're here, man. After the pauses I had yesterday, I was ready to lose my mind here with the constant pauses that I'm getting.
Well, you can take me to caster school, right? Because that last series that we were doing last night, I mean, it was kind of fun, right? But those games are so lopsided, and it's late in the night, and I'm sitting there going, okay, what do I talk about? What do I talk about? What do I talk about? Oh, shit, Grant's in chat. He's going to flame me. What do I talk about? Right. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? I mean, here at least there are some interesting strategic decisions that the teams have gone through to get to this point in the game. But yeah, I'm not to the point yet where I know what to talk about in this absolute stomps.
You know what it does? It's you have to. So this is something that Toby's really good at, right? He just he just removes any sort of, like, if you are thinking about something, there is no filter whatsoever on that guy. He literally would just, like, some sort of synapse fires in his brain, and he's like, pineapples, Brewmaster's eating pineapples. And you're just like, what? Excuse me? But it works, right? It somehow works. He's able to make that into some sort of funny, quirky thing that you get to talk about during the pause. You make a laugh, and it's all kind of ha ha ha. Look at that, and then so you just have to like spew bullshit. Is really the only way to do it. Like you just have to come up. Like for me, I feel like I'm a lot more objective, like because I feel I have a lot more experience, a lot more analysis to provide to a cast. I try and focus on that. I feel like that's one of my strengths as a caster, even though plenty of people disagree. I have something I can analyze, right? So I try and do that during these pauses, but eventually you run out of time, and the next thing you do, you're looking as cosmetics and looking at heroes and going, ha, that guy looks like he has a button in his face, or something like that. And that's really what you're left with. You're just like, and you're just hating yourself. You're just like, why? Why am I doing this? I hate my life. Why can't I just, like, why can't this game just start already? And you start, like, going, like, goddamn players, why aren't they starting the game? What the hell is wrong with them? But it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's Volvo's fault. That's the real problem. These servers just not starting.
No, I mean,
see right now, I'm gonna look at this sword and go, hey, look at this really cool sword on Wraith King. What is it? It's the Blood Shard.
But this is what we need though at Join Dota. We need the face cam. Because Toby shared a video like last night or this morning of the two of you doing an intro where he just does what he does and goes absolutely nuts.
It's Dota. It's Dota.
It's Dota. It's Dota. Yeah, it's just great. And the expression on your face is priceless to me because it's exactly the expression on my face when I'm in those games. So I feel like we need the Join Dota face cams, man. You know,
that's what Join Dota used to do, right? Join Dota used to do the little face cam in the bottom left. We used to actually, well, not we. I don't say why we. I wasn't part of that. But that's what he used to do, right? The webcam at the very bottom. You could see Toby getting all excited and stuff. But in the end, all right. Oh, I have it on pause. Chronosphere on Koipa. And sure enough, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
And now we get to look at the pretty Chronosphere. And the blood spurting out of Puck. Jesus.
That's pretty...
It's the spikes on this mace, man. That's cruel.
Yeah. If you got hit by that thing, you'd probably be pretty sad too.
Actually, like that should be like a cosmetic thing, right? Is that if you think about it, Chronosphere is holding everything in place, right? So you're beating into this hero. There really shouldn't be any blood coming out, right? It should all just come out in an explosion at the end.
Yeah, where's the like Matrix special effects with the blood droplets hanging in the air?
Sunstrike on the Koipa, and he can't dodge it, obviously. The Chronosphere holding in the rest of the Brewlings. And now, with this initiation from Sing Sing,
for Team Tinker.
Yeah, they may be losing the Brewmaster here. Come With Me is able to finish off the Skywrath Mage, jump away by Sing Sing, but a Time Walk will be able to follow him up. Come With Me, he sees so many creeps on the ground. He says, why the hell not? I'm going to lay down this Echo Slam. It seems like it was kind of necessary because Sing Sing was so damn tanky.
Yeah, and they managed to give both of those kills to the Hani Invoker, who's able to get his level 2 Necro recipe off that. This is one incredible turnaround. You know, certainly Midas into Necro 2 at 22 minutes is no world record time, but given where he started from, this is a great job by Hani getting back into this game.
Arrow, whoa, quick blink away there from Koipa, and now his Blink Dagger's on cooldown, may just be able to jump to the orb still, gets a coil on 2. EGM can try and follow this up and go straight for Hani, the best target they can at this point in time. He's going to surround Koifa as much as possible with the Force Spirits, but it looks like Hani will still die, so Orb finishes him off. And Fnatic making the best of this scenario by just turning around and, whoa, jump in. Actually trying to finish off EGM will be able to cause that reincarnation, but it's probably going to be at the cost of Hani's life here. Boogie, boogie, boogie.
That's not worth it at all.
Boogie may have been lagging a little bit. He could have actually run down River with the double damage he had. He could have maybe threatened Koifa. But
yeah, you really do wonder about that. He's the one that apparently started having the issues, although I think that we've had them on both sides now. And again, you know, you see Matimbana, you ask the question like, and it's not his fault at all. Let me be very, very clear about that. But you ask the question, what is this Venomancer contributing? Right? I mean, meanwhile, he's just kind of pushing out the mid lane.
Trixie managed to leap away just before the silence lands from Bulba.
Very nice.
We did have Venomancer. I was looking at him. He's been farming up some ancient stacks as well as farming up the lane. He's got 2,500 gold. So, again, I'm not sure what a Venomancer really does when you're behind like this to make the most out of the gold you have picked up.
Oh, he's got to go Aghanims next, doesn't he? I mean, I guess he can get cute and go Blinker Force, but I mean, it just seems like you need damage so badly. Fnatic now from any source that I feel like he's got to go Ags.
Well,
oh, he's going to go Necrobook. No, this is good too. Okay,
yeah, I
can see this.
I'm down with that.
Good call. Good call.
We do see Roshan's going to be dying here. Team Tinker farming it up.
That's pretty bad. I should have thought. My brain should have registered that as an alternative because Necrobook is probably better than any of the items that we were talking about there.
You did totally call the Battle Brewmaster, though. That's obviously kind of signatures that a little bit, but we're going to be seeing the full investment by Sing Sing with the AC being picked up. Well, the start of the AC anyway. Hyperstone. Tier 1 tower is going to be going down to the top lane. Pycat still gets the deny and will be fed some Necronomicon gold on top of that. Honey actually wants to go for this kill.
Yeah, and he's got his
wants
it. 3 too.
Pycat at low health. He needs to wait a little bit longer for at least his Sunstrike to be back up, though. Sunstrike plus Deafening Blast.
Yeah, he can practically get the kill with that combo alone.
Yeah, just the Sunstrike by itself. If it lands, he's got the kill.
I mean, I'm not sure he can't just walk up and cold snap him at this point.
And Sunstrike. Oh, Pycat backing himself right as that goes out. Deafening Blast and a couple more right clicks. One more. Pycat dies. There goes the Aegis. Jump away, though. Quite far.
Oh, no!
Gonna catch Hani before he can teleport away, and it will be a trade-off here. Sing Sing joins the battle, and Koifel will pop him with the dagger.
Boy, well, at the very least, Hani able to complete his Necro 3 before that happened, but certainly not the favorable trade that they were looking for. Meanwhile, Fnatic will pressure the mid-tier 2 tower here, but I don't think they have enough material on the map to take it.
EGM with the Blink Dagger is going to pursue onto Matu, and with Bulba joining him as well, as soon as they land, nice block off.
Nice.
That is beautiful. Matu will actually be able to get himself away from the pretty little predicament he was stuck in. Come with me. Will also be getting away from Sing Sing just in time. Nice use of the Fisher there. And we have Boogie, who's actually going to be going for the straight-up Aghanims. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I mean, boy, it's the way that Fnatic has been playing this Void lately, as we've already talked about, and they've had so much success doing it. I just don't know, right? Because, so this is where I'll ask you a question I'm pretty sure I know the answer to, but can Invoker and Venomancer's Necro units move around inside Void's Chrono?
No.
They cannot. Yeah, I was 99% sure they can't.
Yeah.
Because, so that's the question, right? They usually, when they're doing this, when they're rushing the Ags on Void, they usually have the damage to back it up. And I don't see them having that here.
Yeah, it's mainly coming out of Hani. That's the only real good damage dealer. Technically, the hold of the Chronosphere kind of works to some extent with the Venomancer ultimate, but it's not as good as many other heroes. They don't have any like strong range heroes to lay down physical damage. It's really just Hani.
Right, but I mean the value of that. Okay, there we go. Matu is in some big trouble here.
Yep, he's going to be blown up by the Skywrath Mage ultimate, and that leaves come with me a little bit of information. He goes, I have to dodge this now with the smoke. He's going to have to try and find some way back into the safety of his side of the base. Meanwhile, Boogie will be dropping out once again.
Yeah,
so his Aghanims coming up though very soon.
Because this is a very close game. I mean, Team Tinker has really Fnatic rather has really clawed their way back into this match in the last 4 or 5 minutes, despite the problems that Boogie's been having with his connection. But you know, you can just see how quickly all of that gets given back in one engagement.
You think the Mirana mounts actually want to be the mount for the Mirana? You think this is like slavery, or is this like...
Dude, like...
Because I'm looking at this owl lion thing.
Okay, well, that thing's just freaky. All right,
let's not talk about these dead eyes that are like glazed over.
This owl bear thing is on the same acid that whoever came up with it was on. In fact, I like... item creators a great deal, so don't pay any attention to me.
I believe that's Anuxi, if I'm not totally wrong. I think you might have
the sweetest person in the world.
Yeah,
so, no,
yeah, sweetest person apparently on acid, according to Haas.
Well, dude, like, come on, this
Anuxi,
is spooky.
Please, though,
this is spooky.
The eyes, okay. The eyes,
yeah,
dead.
It's right. It just, I don't know. The owlbear thing,
the owl lion's like,
the lunar dragon thing is awesome. Now we're doing it though, Cap. We're
spewing bullshit. Bullshit 101.
Exactly. This is
welcome to
like
casting
the last
school.
step in my This is one of the last steps in my education. Oh goodness.
Yep. This is now you just have to learn the phrase diarrhea of the mouth.
Oh, there we go.
Chronosphere onto Sunstrike on a Sing Sing. He's still so tanky though. They may not be able to. Oh, the Echo Slam comes in. That'll finish him off. And there he goes. Sing Sing drops to, what, 2 different ultimates there? Even the Mirana ultimate being committed as well. Enough to be able to finish him off and give them pretty good advantage, but still, they're still going to try and force this fight. Boogie's going to be silenced up, turns around, fights EGM, who's all burnt out of mana, and will be dying there. The problem of facing up against so many Necronomicons. Now come with me, does have a Blink Dagger, but doesn't want to jump it in. Actually, Sing Sing comes back into the fight. And now Hani, they do see him for a second here, and not going to be able to get himself outside of that range. He's going to try and teleport away. Doesn't get it. Silence will finish him off. Now, throwing Trixie back onto the ground. Able to stun him up. Boogie, Boogie, Boogie. Needs to start moving his way around. Unfortunately, he's lagging up so much he can't seem to do much. 1-2 so far in the favor of Team Tinker, backing themselves away. Skywrath Mage super, super low to the Necronomicons that are still pursuing him. Blink forward, Fisher got him. Come with me with a long-range Fisher is able to finish him off. So in the end, that was like a 3 for 2 because they killed Sing Sing in the beginning and then still traded Invoker and Mirana for the Wraith King and Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, and unfortunately, somebody's still controlling Boogie, it looks like here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the chasing the Skywrath Mage halfway across the map was worth it, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to go man. You just got to go ham. You know, you're just a giant Earthshaker guy.
You got to go get those kills, man.
That's right. So,
Thank you, Twitter, for that.
Bottom tower is under attack.
The Owl Lion. Why does it have 10 eyes? Who wouldn't want to be ridden by Mirana? Thank you.
This is okay. I gotta admit that when you posed that question, that last little turn of phrase was the first thing that popped into my head, and when I was like, you
just got to turn off the Haas. You just got to say those words. You just got to unhinge your jaw, let the words flow. It's very seriously. Verbal diarrhea. It's a real thing. Just let it out. Just.
Yeah, the problem is I've had like 15 years of lecturing where I've had to turn that.
This isn't one of your lectures, Nahaz. You can't just have everything structured. Nobody's learning anything from these casts, friend.
I like it.
You just
the voice of realism
just
speaks.
Gotta keep them a little bit entertained, and even if it's them constantly fail fishing at your remarks, it's a good
something, right? Better than dead air.
Yep.
Now, I mean, so we do have Boogie thankfully able to reconnect here in time for a big fight.
Yeah, Matsu's going to be picked off here, and doesn't look like they're going to be able to get anything else out of that one. Meanwhile, the middle lane pushes are continuing. They're just trying to split push as much as possible with the Invoker, continue to force Team Tinker to respond to the push rather than focus on the actual objectives, which it feels like it's been 50 minutes. It's only 30 minutes into the game right now. We have Pycat who's sitting on 4,400 gold. Koifa's got another Scythe of Ice coming up here pretty soon for him. So some significant upgrades, and with the Battle Brewmaster almost finishing up in his Salt Cuirass, they do have a lot more late game than you would normally see out of this exact draft. And that's largely because of the Brewmaster's choice of items. We're going for a full one-position brew.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was absolutely the right route to go in this game. The only, I guess...
Echo Slam on Koifa, locking him down. Sunstrike coming in. We'll be able to finish him off before Koifa gets off the phase shift. And there goes the dominating streak being picked up by the Invoker. Who can now...
Yeah, but neither side can really capitalize on some of these gains.
Blink for a blink. And Hani gets himself away. He's got another 2,200 gold after finishing up that Necro Book 3. Can start building into a Scythe of Ice of his own if he wants to. And what happened in the bottom lane? Looks like somebody controlled Boogie and accidentally activated the Chronosphere.
Oh, that wasn't accidental. That was trying to catch Sing, who blinked out at the last minute.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I had that wasn't a total mistake.
That was pretty darn close. But yeah, I mean, this game I was just getting ready to say before all that last set of action happened that this game taking on sort of the feel of a classic Rat Dota style game where Fnatic just keeping the lanes onto Team Tinker's side of the map, keeping them unable to take any objectives after some of these kills and some of these fights, and eventually, you know, you come to late game and you feel like the Invoker and the Void are eventually gonna win out despite the slow starts and a non-DPS build on the Void.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to say that the Faceless Void maybe not guaranteeing you have late game, but the way this Brewmaster has way more physical damage than the Void at this point, it feels like we're living in this opposite world where it's usually the Brewmaster who is more utility and the Void who is more damage.
Yeah, and now really with the BKB coming up on Pyket's Viper, really Chrono is the only option that they have now to control the Viper. And that's kind of the thing, that eventually we're going to get to the point. The BKB is almost done on EGM's Wraith King. BKB is eventually going to be up on Sing's Battle Brewmaster. It's probably his next item after this AC. We're going to get to the point where the Chrono is going to be the only control that Fnatic have. And the question is going to be, with really only the Invoker dealing all that much damage, you know, the Veno still has a ways to go yet in his item progression. Are they going to be able to get enough done in 6 seconds?
Boogie is going to be jumping in. The Sunstrike lands on Sing Sing. The additional hold of the Chronosphere. They're going to try and beat down Sing Sing inside of this Chronosphere, and they will be successful. Unable to get off his ultimate there. Trixie going to be hit by the orb. They're locking in 3 with this Dream Coil, and the silence as well. And Boogie almost able to finish him off. They do get him. Trixie gets himself out, though. And the teleport away is successful, so they get actually a lot of heroes back. Only Boogie dying from that engagement. Oh my god, what an Echo Slam! Come with me! Going for 2 here, unable to finish off the puck. Will just be able to get the Skywrath Mage in exchange for his Echo Slam. Worth the try there, as he was so close to getting a double. If he got Koifa, that would have been well worth it.
Oh, easily. And man mode engaged on Come With Me's Earthshaker there. And that, I mean, that gets him to level 15. I mean, he's at level parity with just about everybody now.
Pretty crazy. 17 to 24, 33 minutes into this game. Team Tinker have been unable to grow much more of a gold lead, despite the fact holding about 5,000 gold lead pretty consistently for the last 20 to 25 minutes. The experience lead has dropped a little bit more in their favor, sitting a little slightly over 10,000. BKB now going to be finished up by EGM, so between him as well as the Brewmaster, they'll both try and take over that physical damage carry role, where the Viper begins to drop off a little bit.
No, I mean, that's going to be, I started to say before all that stuff happened, that's going to be the question for me is can Fnatic deal enough damage in the 6-second window that they're going to have in that Chrono?
Feels so bad for Fnatic trying to play with that Boogie like this. It's pretty rough. And they still have another game after this. So right now we are actually a half an hour behind schedule. As
already?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Cloud9 versus Fnatic will be happening after this matchup, and that will also be delaying our ESL 1 matchup between Alliance and Cloud9. So today is going to be going a bit later than 1 a.m. tonight, I think.
Yeah, you know, we talked about this, by the way, earlier, that Koikva chosen to build the Dagon, but then go back for the Scythe of Vice on his puck. So this is the slightly more conventional variant of the puck build that we talked about earlier when we were seeing, you know, what the fuck is Dagon 5 out of that. But I like this here. I think that these items, the big items coming up from Team Tinker now, really do give them quite the advantage in these next couple of engagements if they execute properly.
Moonlight Shadow going out. They're going to try and find another initiation here on Sing Sing. They just keep on going, beating the same old drum. Boogie initiates with the Chronosphere. Here comes the Meteor, the Sunstrike, all that extra magic damage, and they will be able to finish him off with the Fisher Blast. Koifa gets caught by the Enchant Totem, though. Enchant, oh, nice Echo Slam as well, just to make sure that he can't get out. Come With Me, he'll still be dropped. He's tried to teleport himself away. Trixie, one more hit, and will be able to get away from Pycat just in time. EGM starts going for Hani, but he's going to be turned around on. His BKB will protect him from some of this magic burn, but he's going to be losing his life soon here as he gets surrounded pretty quickly and able to get at least Trixie's kill with that one death. Now Pycat linking himself into a position to try and do some damage to Boogie. EGM will be getting himself out of here. Cold Snap goes down on EGM, and they have a host of minions chasing all these heroes away. But they're going to go on Boogie once again, get silenced up just before he can make the time walk away. Backtracks are doing him good, but not quite good enough. Matsu able to get himself away, and the overextension there from Fnatic costing them a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the ideal engagement from Fnatic's point of view. They went in and were able to initiate on the 2 heroes of Team Tinker that weren't supports and didn't have BKBs. So they popped Sing and they popped Koikva right away without the BKBs. By the time Viper and Wraith King were able to get in there with their BKBs active, their team was mostly dead. But you saw, I mean, even just 3v4, 3v5, 3v3, with those BKBs active, Fnatic was just not able to bring down EGM and Pycat.
And another Roshan that's going to be claimed by Team Tinker, the second Roshan of the game. So next one coming up, we'll have that cheesy cheese. And Sing Sing, well, he's He's got it to sell Cuirass. He just hasn't been able to build into anything else, seeing as they keep killing him over and over and over again.
Yeah, and as much as I like the Battle Brewmaster build, you do have to consider BKB at some point. You know, it is a little bit unfortunate. He's just kind of been picked on since finishing that AC.
Yeah. Well, even if he does have the BKB here, do you think it's even still going to work out for him? Because we've gotten to the point where Hani has enough Exort damage that he, with the Chronosphere, they're laying down so much damage, he's popping inside of that ultimate.
But remember, Chrono does have, I mean, Sing Sing has some reflexes on him, and Chrono does have a cast animation. I would give Sing Sing at least some odds of getting that BKB off before the Chrono goes on him.
EGM taking an arrow to the groin there, but we'll be fine. There's not much they can do, especially with the reincarnation being finished up. Off cooldown once again. BKB, another 3,200 gold on EGM. Surprised he never went for a Maelstrom at any point in time, as that does make your Wraith King so fast to being able to farm. I wonder what if he still goes for the Maelstrom Mjolnir build, as it is so good on the Wraith King, but it is kind of late.
Sure, I mean, I think you could go with Sing having the AC.
Teleport.
Okay.
Clap, and Bulba not willing to drop the ultimate there.
Yeah, that was an interesting position to be in.
Yeah.
He did get out of it, but
quick reactions to leaping away there.
I mean, most of our viewers will already know this, but it is important in these Pro Dota 2 matches that BKB is literally instant. There are a lot of abilities in Dota that have just really short animations, but that's why, I mean, for example, that's why the play happens, right? Back in the day at TI, the BKB literally activates as soon as you click the button.
We now have a Ghost Scepter being picked up by Bulba's Skywrath Mage, and oh my god, that arrow.
Dire's bottom tower
That was like halfway into his ass, and then disappeared. Like, literally breaching, and then disappeared like that.
That's a very good thing that we're not doing a Sing Sing Mirana with his wonderfully named cosmetics with that little comment. But anyway.
Boogie is going to be caught out by the side device here and will be taken down. As even if he could survive longer, they still have an additional 3 seconds of silence.
Ships passing in the night. Look at this with Quickfa and Hani up here.
Oh, Kofa sees him. He's like, I found Hani, boys. He's in the corner. Hani will still be able to teleport himself away. There is a push happening in the bottom lane where, come with me, takes on Boba, mano a mano. Able to wipe him out. Sing Sing trying to catch up. Unable to do so. Arrow lands on Sing Sing. And maybe they could do this. Matu gets off the ultimate. Sing Sing getting low is going to be popped on that one. All the magic damage comes into play. Pycat doing work he can, but the Moonlight Shadow protecting them, and they're even going to wait for the BKBs to go down. Come with me. Running forward, and they finish off. EGM already going down. Now Pycat's going to be up next. He's surrounded by 3 heroes. They'll get him. Aegis coming into play here, but Hani, with all his extra magic damage, maybe they can go for a secondary kill here. It's going to be a little bit risky, and Hani calls back. Matu teleporting himself away. Koifa with the sight device will be able to catch 2 different heroes here. Come with me, teleporting away. Barely gets himself out. Oh, he died. Never mind. Coil snapped.
Oh, man.
He snapped his own neck there inside the fountain.
I mean, it's almost painful, right? Because Fnatic once again executed that fight just about perfectly, managed to kill Sing Sing almost instantly, just couldn't do anything in that fight. Were able to wait for EGM's Blink Dagger to go down and take him out. They had Pycat surrounded by 4 heroes at one point. Looked like they were going to be able to chase him into the trees. But yeah, then, I mean, the connection issues, we try as casters not to talk about them too much, but they really have played a role here, and I think they did have an impact on that fight.
Yeah, it's going to be problematic. Oh, man. So
yeah, I mean,
hopefully,
that's
I think, so Hani's getting DDoSed as well?
I don't, well, let's not use that. I mean, let's not use those 4 letters unless we have to. I mean, it's not, you know, that they were said in our last series, but we don't know that that's what's happening.
Yeah, you already broke open the dam there. Dude, I'm blaming you now.
Oh my freaking Lord, if that's what's happening, I'm going to go find somebody and kill him. Really? Do we not have anything better to do? Are you serious? Anyway.
Well, rares are important.
Nobody wants to hear an old man rant. Anyway.
Hey, what is this dead-eyed owl lion and his partner, the Mirana, doing with their item build?
Yeah, like I cannot believe I just like flamed a Nuxie set. She's like basically the sweetest person you'll ever meet anywhere. And of course it's Fnatic, so she's watching. Excuse me, I'm just gonna go shoot myself now.
No. What about the items here? So I'm 99% sure we mentioned the Midas on the Mirana.
Yeah, yeah.
But the headdress plus the Maelstrom.
Well, so I hadn't talked about it specifically. I had noted it, but remember earlier on when she went that headdress, when Matum Bauman had already completed the mech, I was pretty sure that Trixie was just going to go for a pipe, which does make a kind of sense here, right? You have enough. People forget, but a lot of Viper's damage is magical as well as Puck's combo. Puck's got a Dagon, Skywrath, of course. I mean, a pipe does make some sense here, but I mean, I think at some point, Fnatic correctly realized that this game is going late, right? I mean, that's been clear for some time. And so they're saying, okay, as this game goes late, EGM's Wraith King is going to transition into a core role, and we need something to counteract that. And so Trixie goes ahead and turns around, picks up the Midas, picks up the Maelstrom, which really kind of turns Mirana into that farming 4 to offset the Wraith King.
Yeah, and at this rate, hell, Come With Me can start turning into a core Earthshaker.
Exactly.
The way he's been pulling out some pretty big plays here between the hero kills he's gotten and the Midas, he's actually getting a pretty decent gold per minute for a support Earthshaker like this. So they late game transitions all around. Hani trying to make his way back into the game.
I mean, that's the thing that people, a lot of people think a lot of supports are weaker in the late game than they really are, because supports tend to be under-leveled at this point in the match when compared to all the other heroes on the map, and it can be a little bit of a shock when you have a support. I mean, this was part of what was behind the movement back in 6.78, 6.79, where everybody was buying Midas on Crystal Maiden and ridiculous crap. That a lot of these support heroes, their spells are more effective than people realize when they are at level parity at this point in the game. And it's my long-winded way of saying that Come With Me's combo is doing a lot more than you probably think it is.
Nahaz, what did Radiant's safe lane carry when the off-lane Mirana roamed to another lane?
What? What'd I do?
What did the Radiant's safe lane carry say when the off-lane Mirana roamed to another lane?
I don't know. What?
Bottom is missing. Get it? Bottom is the bottom lane. It's a Priestess of the Moon. It's the bottom.
Can someone shoot me now? I mean, and that noise. Please never make that noise again. That noise you just made. We shall never speak of this. Or what are you? Are you on the Dota 2 dash?
No, I'm not outsourcing my talent right now to some Reddit thread called Dota 2 dad jokes. That would be completely unprofessional, Nahaz. I'm coming up with these on the fly. What do you call a mix between Leshrac and Ogre Magi?
What?
Leshrac.
Kill me. Oh my lord.
That's what the outline was saying. Kill me.
Kill me now. My eyes are dead.
Oh god. I'm so done with pause Dota. It's happened too much. It's happened too much. I've been casting way too much. The pauses, they're actually really tiring. People don't hyped up games give you energy. Pause games sap your energy.
Yeah.
They literally kill you.
It is funny. I mean, it's funny how quickly you just your brain just completely tunes out.
I had a solo cast game yesterday where it was an hour-long game, but the VOD was not even the VOD. The game time of not even just you take away the draft, it was an hour and 40 minutes. Hour and 40 minutes.
Oh my lord.
40 minutes of pause time.
Yeah.
That ain't me. That ain't me, man.
It just reminds me of like why I could never have like guest speakers and stuff in my classes. That I mean, I would give 3-hour MBA statistics lectures and I'd be fine. But the minute if I had to like take a break, or if I had to stand there while somebody else was giving a talk, it was just like, okay, I'm done. I mean, my brain and body both just shut down. And getting going again after that, yeah, it's not easy. Okay, but more importantly, why did Furion give his Midas to charity?
Because it was not for profit.
Oh my goodness gracious! I see. I did it too. Now I've lost all right to complain, and now everyone in the world hates us. But that's okay, because we love you all.
Yep.
Cap actually doesn't.
Well, I don't. I hate all of you, actually. I hate like 90% of you.
See, you and my wife would get along really. Oh.
You gotta get the.
Really? Really? See, you know the old saying, don't ask questions that you don't want to know the answer to? You do realize you're posing this in a game with Sing Sing?
Yep.
I mean, something bad is...
that wasn't... It was like Trixie just out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, these players are probably going at least as crazy as we are, so it's really hard to blame. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I'm slowly warming up to the idea of the verbal diarrhea thing.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness.
Trixie.
Give him the old finger. Oh no.
Because Trixie.
Nothing good can possibly come with this.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, this I don't know. I mean, we might need to go in offline mode or something for the rest of these series. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. Commend the Valve system.
I mean, it's not, you know, as much as we like to bitch about it, it's not really Valve's fault.
No,
anything is.
Someone has got to take the blame here, Nahaj, and anonymous is not going to work for me. All right, I don't care if it's a company or organization, a person. I need something to hate right now.
Don't we blame Toby? Isn't that company policy?
Yes, blame Toby. God damn it, Toby. This was supposed to be my day off, and I was nice enough to go, no, Toby, you can take the day off, because he was like, man, I'm just really like bushed, man, or whatever Australian words that he says out of his mouth. And
there was probably wankers was involved somewhere if it was Toby, but go on.
Yes. He was talking about the wankers in the chat and talking about how bushed he was. And said, crikey, I really need a break. And I was like, no, Toby, it's cool. You could totally take tomorrow, aka today. You could have that day off. I'll take my day off later into the week. And now I'm here with this pause.
Soon. TM.
It's Toby's fault.
Yeah, see?
Toby's
I told you,
fault.
man.
Now getting these smash Twitters.
Thank God.
Worst cast ever. That joke was so terrible.
What is this?
Follow me at Dota Capitalist, guys.
Oh, yeah,
help contribute to this cast. We need help.
That is maybe the first true thing that you've said.
Oh man.
I definitely do. Well, looks like we might have a resume here. Thank God.
Oh my God, we're ready to go. It's Dota time, boys. It's Dota time. Dota time. Hey, like Maelstrom is being picked up by Pycat, by the way, so he's beginning to build into some damage.
Yeah, some damage as well as, again, I mean, both teams seem resigned to the fact that this game is going late. So, again, it is a farming item as well.
All right, so I love the fact that this game shows zero sign of ending anytime soon, because once again we have both teams going All right, this is going to be a 70-minute game. We're going to pick up some Hanamiduses, some late-game Hanamiduses on the side of Fnatic. Team Tinker is going to start building into damage items on their supports, and we're going to push this to a very, very late game. So the 60-minute long run time for this current VOD. This is going to be the longest VOD ever for Dota 2 Champions League. Good God.
I mean, with the exception of the Skyrath,
I'm so hungry too, and there's gonna be no pauses, and I'm dying of starvation here.
Yeah, I grabbed
SOS. If anybody in the office is listening, send food. Help! Oh wait, I've got a bowl of blueberries right next to me. Sweet, sweet sustenance. I don't know if we like hold on to this game for later and play this at another time, or what the deal is, but
yeah, in all seriousness, I would hope that we would have some kind of postponement, but again, I mean, this is why we have tournament rules, folks, and you may not like them, but we do have to adhere to them.
That's right. Punch Toby. Give stream without DDoS. Yep.
This has been painful, man.
It's been a day of flaming Toby so far.
Is Sing Sing like just trying to win the game by building the most armor possible? That's the other thing that I want to know.
Yeah, Benji is joining the enjoying the dad jokes at least.
Thank God somebody is. Dude, I forget who introduced me to our Dota 2 dad jokes, but I mean it's entirely legit. It is never too early.
This is the first time I've ever gone on that thread.
Oh, it's wonderful.
All right.
I mean,
well,
come on.
I'm hoping
I'm a
the
Dota
admins,
dad, dude. Like I'm all about that.
You are technically a Dota dad. Why doesn't Puck like hockey?
Oh God.
Well, it's pretty freaking obvious, isn't it?
You're
nice. I'm getting some legitimate flame. Like,
yeah, your laugh has deteriorated to the point where I think you might be dying.
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess we kind of both are inside.
Now I'm getting the schmarmy flame. Yes,
did I mention,
these joint Dotacasters should learn from Beyond the Summit and just put up a splash screen. Well, I was hoping not to have to do that, because it means we have two different parts of the VOD, and it also means that I was really hoping this game would just finish. But that might be what we have to do. We've gotten this far, though, so we're going to be holding on to it for now.
Did I mention though that the Castle is the best turn in the game? That's for Nuxie.
FNG. I was like, so can we like replay this at a later date with a load or something like that? And FNG's in this channel because it's Dota 2 Champions League, obviously. And FNG's like, no, you're a professional caster. Do your job, Kappa. Thanks, FNG. Thanks, buddy.
Love the support. Thanks.
All right.
Hey, at least you got called a professional caster. I mean, there you go.
That's true.
Worst things.
This is true. Did you hear why Abaddon was a cheapskate chef?
A cheapskate chef?
Yes.
No, he's living on borrowed time?
It has to do with his ultimate. See if you can figure this out. It has to do with his ultimate.
This is no. I'm not playing this game. This is not a
come on, Nahaz. You're a professor. You're a smart man. You can figure out some puns.
Give me a break. Borrowed time.
He borrowed time.
CHYME.
You solved it. You solved the mystery. You solved the mystery, Scooby-Doo.
How did Death Prophet lose weight? It's her ultimate too.
Yeah, I know.
She exercised.
Did you know Venge was a cheerleader in her teenage years?
Oh Lord.
She was literally the school spirit. All right, that one wasn't as good. But
no, that's the problem. Is usually only about the first 10 or 12 are any good.
I'm just clicking on the ones that are actually having a very, very high How did Death Prophet lose weight?
I just told that one.
I'm not listening to you. Are you kidding me? I'm so focused on just emptying my head right now. Come on now. Nah,
well, it shouldn't take very long. Yeah, eventually, that's the thing. Eventually, if this lasts long enough, we will have nothing to do but flame each other. I'm sure that the chat would be delighted by that.
What if I was one of your students, Nahaz? How would you feel insulting me like that? Do your students know about? Do your students know about your Dota involvement? By the way,
so not not that I am aware. Just because until about this point last year, I had this silly thing where I didn't want people to know, because I mean you gotta understand, right? Like I work at a place where like everybody's freaking like all these professors are desperate to try and look cool, right? So they have hobbies like hang gliding and like, you know, parasailing and, you know, sail planing and all this kind of crap. And I'm like, okay, what do? I drink wine and I play Dota. Those are my hobbies. And so I'm like, okay, I don't really want anybody to know. And at some point, it was actually Toby that said something to me, and I forget exactly what he said, but he's like, you know, why do you really give a shit? And I just didn't have a good answer to that. I was like, you know, it's like I really care at this point in my life. So yeah, no, I'm proud of it. I think it's cool. I enjoy my hobby, and I don't have to like risk being bodily injured. It's nice.
Bodily injured.
Dude, one of my best friends in academia, he does this, like, they do a couple of them actually. They do this sail planing, right? Where, I mean, literally you're in a plane without an engine. It's basically a very fancy glider, and you get towed up into the air by another airplane. And in principle, it's really cool because you're like looking at the landscape and you're reading based on what the ground looks like beneath you. You're reading where the updrafts are. And you're using them to get altitude. But it's like, you know, eventually we were talking about this one day, and I asked him, I mean, what do you do when you kind of hit a dead spot of air? And they're basically like that. I mean, really?
Wait, no, you lagged slightly. So what do you do when you hit a bit of dead air? And then it kind of cut out.
Their answer was basically, that's bad. I mean, okay.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
15,000 feet up, and your answer is that's bad. Okay. Here we go.
All right. Let's see if we're ready to go now. 22-30. It's been an hour and a half long in this game. We are 42 minutes in, and we've got a 14,000 experience lead, a 5,000 gold lead. For Team Tinker. Yeah. I actually had to double check to make sure Team Tinker were the ones in the lead. I mean, that's how lost you are after a pause goes down. It happens to the players too. You ever deal with a really long pause, you end up coming back into the game, you've lost all sense of where you are at in the game when it comes to how you feel the game's going, what positions you think the enemy is at. It's really, really rough to actually come back from a pause like this.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of the thing. You hear about this in all sports, you know, baseball players coming back after a rain delay. But to me in Dota, it's just that much more difficult because the state of the game is so high dimensional and is continuously evolving. I mean, you can look at some of the items here, get a sense. Hani just finishes up the Lincoln Sphere on his Invoker. We've got the Mjolnir coming out on Mirana, so on Trixie's Mirana. So that transition we were talking about, and Boogie here going to be initiated on.
And Koifa's 10, still go for the jump. Nice little Chronosphere. Boogie needed to be able to lay that one down. The Scythe of Ice lasting so long, but he still will be able to get himself away. So he's good. 4 heroes in the top lane. Team Tinker not going to be able to find the opening and probably not going to be able to do much else from this position. Sing Sing and Koifa are still waiting for something to show up here, but Matu, I doubt he's going to be running forward enough. And they have this bottom lane that's pushing in very aggressively right now. And maybe losing out. Yep, trying to get himself away. Still going to be caught. Really hoping Matu wouldn't happen to him. But still, at least they can maybe push in this bottom lane. In the response here, EGM gets off his BKB at the last second of his death. And will be coming back with the reincarnation. Tier 3 tower is getting very low here. Now, Team Tinker just now responding with the rest of their team. The leap away, though, will be able to dodge the Viper Strike, and they'll be good from there. As Trixie teleporting away will not be caught. Nobody ends up getting caught. They get a lot of damage on the tier 3. In fact, they did take it down. Was that denied? No, and Volker actually secured it with the Force Spirits, it looks like.
Right. I mean, it's interesting. Fnatic getting the better of that trade, and you can see some of those late game. So the double Midases, some of these late game oriented builds really starting to pay off as Team Tinker are having a hard time holding the lane equilibrium back.
So, Boogie beginning to build into some damage over zone. He's got a Maelstrom being picked up, looking for that full Mjolnir once again. The Yasha was exchanged there for the headdress that Trixie was holding on to for quite some time. Now gets a nice little damage dealing item. And all of a sudden, I mean, in the space of like 3 minutes, aka 50 minutes, but in the space of 3 minutes in game time, we've seen this Mirana go from pretty much like no items to a straight up like pretty good semi-carry build now. They know Hani's here, by the way. They know Hani's here, and they can see him, too.
Oh, no, they have the gem. They have the gem.
Yep, the Force Spirit's going to go down. Lincoln's protects him for a little while, and they're actually going to be forced back. The Chronosphere comes in with the Echo Slam, and here comes both of them. Koifa's going to be flying for sure. Pycat's going to live a little bit longer here, but he should still be right-clicked down. Enchant Totem is the extra bit of stun, and Fnatic are actually in a really great position now, just 5-man down the top lane. 90 seconds and 75 seconds for Team Tinker. They don't have a buyback.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe that. Did Team Tinker just lose this game? I mean, they're not out of it yet, but Fnatic are all the way back and then some from the deficit that they've had for almost the entire match.
Yep, they're going to have a tier 2 for tier 2 trade. Fnatic not going to be holding out just yet. They know they want to force buybacks. Little do they realize, though, that's not buybacks at all. That's them dead permanently. And that's a good opportunity for them to be able to take a tier 3 Team Tinker. All that's left, EGM is going to continue this push here in the middle lane, trying to at least make some sort of affordable trade here. Sing Sing goes in, gets off the ultimate. Boogie going to be blown up and taken down. Well played by Bulba. And now they're just going to keep on going in. Matsu, they're running out of, in fact, they may actually die. Kill the Brewmaster outright here. If they kill this Earth Panda, he's dead. But at the same time, they don't want to be committing too much here. If they can finish off this melee Rax, it'll be perfect for them. The minions will clean it up. And Matsu will be able to teleport himself away. So they got a couple of kills, Void as well as the Mirana, but they got a tier 2, tier 3, and a melee Rax, all in exchange for just losing a tier 2 in the middle lane.
Right, and you got to ask yourself, if this kind of trade Dota continues, if you just see the back and forth, each team going down lanes, Fnatic, they win in that situation, right? And you're even, you're even seeing Come With Me build into a Necro book. I mean, you know, old school M5 strats, but this is the way. Unless Team Tinker can force a major engagement involving most of the heroes on the map, I don't see them being able to win against Fnatic in this style of Dota.
For sure. They're going to be able to clean up Roshan, though. Dire side advantage becoming apparent once again as they force Fnatic back to their base, and with a couple of kills, Roshan is easily theirs. That's going to be the Aegis for the Viper and Cheese for Koifa's Puck.
Yeah, but I don't know that they can do what they're doing. I mean, they do have some room left to improve. Sing Sing wants his buyback now. He might get comboed down, though, by Come With Me's Earthshaker. This is scary.
Come With Me. What does he have? Oh, he actually has Necrobook, too, so he's going to Necrobook for himself as well. I didn't actually notice that. I was kind of hoping to see him go for some damage and actually go for, like, a true enchant totem, late game carry, Earthshaker. But Necronomicon obviously makes a lot of sense as well.
Just that much more sustain, that many more units to just dive into the base of Team Tinker and throw at those buildings. I mean, that's kind of the thing, that unless you commit whole hog here as Team Tinker, I don't know what you can do. And even if you do commit all 5 heroes, you got to worry about the base race.
So 24-33, Fnatic quite the potential upset here. Not only just taking out Team Tinker in game number 1, but coming back from a gigantic experience lead and gold lead for Team Tinker. Team experience still in the favor quite heavily in Team Tinker, but the gold is probably the most important aspect right now, is actually in the favor of Fnatic here, just slightly.
Yeah, I mean, and the significance of a 15k gold lead at this point in the match is not really that much. I mean, you can see it's basically yeah.
Because everybody's got their level 3 ultimates, right? And that's the most important part about experience, to most part. The rest is just a little bit of extra stats. Come With Me, throwing down a stun on Sing Sing. They're pushing in middle lane. EGM's going to jump in. Matu going to be stunned up. Nice 4-staff usage. Will be able to keep Matu alive a little bit longer. In fact, the Moonlight Shadow will save him entirely, as the puck just, I guess, wasn't in position. No, he actually doesn't have the gem anymore because he died. Who does have the gem? Anybody? Nobody on the side. Bulba actually has it, just bought it. So the next Moonlight Shadow, hopefully they won't be so easily juked out like that. But still, that was a lost opportunity for them to at least get one pick off there.
Exactly. I mean, call pest control, because this is the problem for TT. They have to be able to force some kind of commitment from Fnatic to a fight. Otherwise, they're just going to get these units thrown at their base over and over again.
Trixie can finish up his full Manta, and that'll actually be like, I don't normally like Manta really late into the game like this, but it works well on a Mirana, and on top of that, it just gives you more ratting factors, right? It's able to like push out the lanes without having your hero being threatened. You can even put the static charge on one of the illusions and just run it into creep waves if you want. Come with me. They're setting up on Pycat here. Blink forward. Pycat using this blink may cost him here. They're going to try and set up an arrow somehow. Trixie showing himself at first, a little bit of stuns. Now here comes the Fissure, actually hits EGM right as he blinks in. Sunstrike almost finishing up. Pycat, he dies to creeps. Trixie trying to get himself away, will be able to get out. Come with me. Not as lucky, but they do take away that Aegis from Pycat's Viper.
Yeah, but meanwhile, losing Come With Me, and this is the downside, right, of going that Midas and being able to build all those big items, is that, you know, your respawn timer is 80 seconds now, and you're 1,300 gold away from buyback. This is an opportunity from Team Tinker, and it's one that they desperately need to capitalize on.
Hani is going to be able to finish up a Scythe of Ice here anytime he wants to and still hold on to some buyback gold. Matu is going to be caught here and blown up by Bulba, so he will be caught. The top lane push. Fnatic actually can't afford to let anybody else be caught here, as this top lane push
right now, though.
Yeah, I think so. Bulba's going to be caught by the Chronosphere, and they're going to take him down, but they need a little bit of extra damage here. Did they actually? No. You'll set their defensive usage. He's going to be able to lay this out a little bit longer. Tornado hits both of them, but top lane is still taking the damage. They're now going to go for Sing Sing. Boogie trying to lock him down. Back up to the top lane. Tier 3 tower glyph has been used, but it's going to be falling soon. Boogie, dropped out of the game. Now jumping himself away. Sing Sing has no lockdown to be able to finish him up. Top lane, EGM getting low. Is going to lose his first life here. Hani trying to slow it down. Melee racks should be going down here, so there's going to be a lot of commitment. There goes the ultimate. Matu going to be stunned up by EGM and won't be able to get away. EGM actually teleporting back as they just got the melee racks. That's all they wanted. Now Boogie trying to get the towards the time lock. There it is. Pycat will lose his life here.
And the gem.
And the gem also down on the deck. Montu does not have a buyback. We do have the rest of Fnatic are up. Buyback was used on the Mirana as well as Montu's Venomancer.
But
with 4 heroes up.
Pycat will have buyback in 20 seconds here. He's got plenty of gold. This is not the game for sure.
Yeah, this is no bueno. No bueno whatsoever. Dagon, level 5, almost up here for the puck with that Scythe of Ice included. He's got himself a cheese. Earthshaker has finished up his Necrobook 3. Trixie has the Manta. And we have now Boogie, who desperately needs this BKB, as we don't want to be seeing what happened last Chronosphere happening again with that tornado throwing him up in the air for so long and basically delaying that kill on Bulba, which basically allowed the rest of Team Tinker to be able to push in that top lane so heavily.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the time where Boogie can just hope to hit a Chronosphere and have all of his teammates do the damage for him is long since past in this match. He needs to be a factor in these fights. And without a BKB, there are just too many ways that they can completely shut him down.
Yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, he hasn't actually used his buyback yet. And this means he needs to be able to hold on to more gold. If he'd used his buyback recently, he would just grab the BKB outright and be ready to go. But he needs to make sure he has that buyback ready to go. So he may not buy his BKB unless he's able to get another 2,000 or 3,000 gold underneath his belt. Sing Sing, presuming Abyssal is going to be his next item. He's got Shiva's Vlads as well as an Assault Cuirass. He is incredibly tanky, sitting at 47 armor. He is mitigating 73% of the physical damage coming at him.
Yeah, but here's the problem. He's going to need a BKB himself.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
I mean, it's all wonderful to go battle Brewmaster and all this and have all this damage, but a lot of that damage potential is wasted if you have to be in your ultimate to survive.
So Fnatic start marching down the middle lane. They are in quite the crux here. They need to be able to force Pycat to at least buy back so they're on a little bit more even ground in that regard. The Mass Necrobook start pushing in. They lost some of their advantage there. with the split team fight that ended up occurring and where they lost their tier 3. They're going to have the Necrobooks go in through the bottom lane and start focusing on this range wreck. Sing Sing comes in, looking to clean him up as fast as possible. EGM will lose a bit of his life here. Moonlight Shadow going down was spotted out by Team Tinker. Now Trixie. Ooh, Earthshaker Fisher comes in, and the Scythe of Ice, they may actually be able to finish up Trixie here. With Koifa having that Dagon, he can wipe him out. And maybe Boogie, depending on what he wants to do here. Is he going to initiate, or are they going to leave him to die? He's going to go for the initiation, holding in 2 heroes.
Oh, no.
Doesn't really make much out of that, though. As Koifa is now going to keep on going. He didn't get hit by it. He's now trying to find an extra target to Dream Coil. But Fnatic will stay ahead. And they keep Pycat's buyback in up. That's what I was looking for. Up. It's up.
Yeah, fortunate there that we already have the Aghanims up and that only 40 till the Chronosphere. Oh, goodness.
All right.
Yeah, at this point, have to agree.
We spent 1 hour pausing. I think that is actually close to accurate. I think that is actually very close.
Yeah, I know. I don't think he's exaggerating at all, and I'm tempted even to agree with Hani. But all right. Well, sorry about this, guys. Obviously not an ideal situation, and we apologize to the viewers for all this, but it's obviously beyond our control and beyond these teams' control. Everybody here just wants to play some good Dota, but unfortunately it looks like some other assholes out there don't want to see it.
All right, so that means we're going to be jumping into the next Dota 2 champ. Oh, wait. I say that. If Fnatic are having issues, they're the next matchup. It's Fnatic versus Cloud9.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know. I'll just keep you guys up to date if yeah. Well, I'll just keep you guys up to date. It looks like this is going to be played at another time, another date, and I will keep you guys up to date about what's going to be happening here in the next hour or so. If Fnatic can't play any matches today at all, we have in 1 hour's time Alliance versus Cloud9 in ESL. So if Fnatic can't play their matchup versus Cloud9, which is obviously seems to be the case here, then we still have another best of 3 that's going to be happening, Alliance versus Cloud9, coming up. So I'm waiting for this to be made a little bit more official.
Yeah, I don't feel like we can just kind of sack on this match quite yet, although I tend to agree that I don't think playing on any further would be fair to either team, really. And I'm very sympathetic to Hani's point that look, you know, they've had to deal with it so far anyway, but it just seems like there's no point. But again, you know what? That's the thing. You got to have rules and you got to follow them. I mean, we might not like it, but if the admins rule play on, that's what we got to do.
All right. So Fnatic versus Cloud9 was already postponed. Apparently, I missed that in the the chat. So that is not happening. And as this game comes to a close, somebody call it. As this game comes to a close, we will then just be taking a bit of a break, and we'll see you guys back on Twitch. Join Dota Red with Cloud9 versus Alliance, which should be a really great matchup. That's the upper bracket. That's to determine who's going to be moving on in ESL and securing one of those slots, one of the 4 slots from the European region, to go into the one of those 4 slots to New York. And then the loser will drop down into the losers bracket finals, where they have another shot at it. So that's it, guys. Thanks you much for bearing with us. I hope you guys had a good time with the lame jokes and everything else and our blabbering. Hope we gave you guys at least some entertainment for the night. And hopefully we'll give you more entertainment. 15 minutes time, Cloud9 versus Alliance on Join Dota Red.